Welcome to part 5 of our playthrough of Walden. We are now in the early winter, and the snow is falling outside. Very nice. We have a letter from Sophia.
December 1845. Dearest Henry, how do you fare in these deep months of winter? We worry for your health, never strong. Mother has taken ill, and I worry for you as well. Be sure to make your way home to us for the holidays, as we have some festive offerings just for you. Fa la 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 la, Sophia.
Okay, well, apparently we should stop by home and see what's happening. Snow crunching under our feet. Now we can grab some sumacs still in the winter. Most of the other plants are not available this time of year. Also, we should check to see the next book that Emerson wants is out past Haywood's Peak, it looks like. So, actually, let's go see if we can find it before we go into town. Get a little energy while we're here. Rest for a moment. Let's see, we're gonna have to follow along, and on the way we'll actually pass Sophia's next riddle as well, so we can do both before heading into town. Keep an eye on the map to see if we're headed in the right direction. Also really simple tones to the music now, but a little bit more cheerful. Aha, our next Solitude Cairn, and Sophia's basket.
Good work. Keep going. Standing tall at the rim of the sky, like my namesake's transparent eye, I have the clearest view of all we know, far from toil of the field and the hoe. S.
Okay, so we've got the riddle, and we'll just keep going along this path to the next reading rock. There's that creeping juniper with a new entry. I am singularly refreshed in winter when I hear of service berries, pokeweed, juniper. Is not heaven made up of these cheap summer glories? And next to the tree here is the groundnut again. This humble root, the groundnut, which was once the totem of an Indian tribe, is quite forgotten or known only by its flowering vine, but let wild nature reign here once more, and it may resume its ancient importance and dignity. You can still pick groundnut in the early winter. A handy plant to be aware of when so much of the rest of our food is unavailable. And is this the reading rock I see? like it is. So now we have the laws of Manu. Okay, we'll take that back to Emerson. This time we'll go up by the Concord Road. Today I'm pretty sure this is called the Walden Road. There goes a hare, but now it's got its winter coat.
Interesting.
I take a step, and lo, away scuds the hare with an elastic spring over the snow crust, straightening its body and its limbs into graceful length, and soon put the forest between me and itself. See, a lot of the trees have been cleared away in this area up here by the road. And I think that stump right there, yeah, that's the one where we would be able to earn some money by chopping wood, contributing to the deforestation of this area. I see some sumac growing in the field across the fence. And then with this white bark, I think we can identify as birch trees. Yep. Birch seed being scattered over the country like a fine grain or a shower of dust. No wonder then that the white birch is so prevalent and characteristic a tree with us, and that the seedling birches spring up every year on so many neglected spots. Here, again, along the edge of the map in the game, you can usually hear sounds that are interesting, like this tolling of the church bell. What's this plant we're passing here? Oh, there's an entry for snow. To us, snow and cold seem a mere delaying of spring. How far we are from understanding the value of these things in the economy of nature. Oh, there's a surveying flag. Ah, so we're near the surveying job that we can take up to earn some money. Don't know what this plant is that's growing along the stone wall here, though. Ah, and here we can do a little bit of surveying as we're passing by. We might as well do the first one. So you just sort of point this at the surveying flag, jot some notes, get paid, and then we'll find the next one later. For now, we'll keep going. And we come to Emerson's house, which looks even cheerier in the middle of winter. Warm.
Oh, there you are, Henry. I almost miss seeing you so familiar as your shape there by our hearth. Lydian and I were just saying that we think of you almost as one of our own family now. So often do we see you here. Be sure you keep some time for your own work now, along with all the chores my wife puts you to. I hear the writing is finally going along well. Ah, you found my laws of Manu. Good for you, Henry. I wanted to look at that passage about temperance and the ways of Brahma. I know you know the one I mean.
No, I haven't read it.
Oh, well, I'd hoped you would, and that it would give you inspiration.
I'm disappointing Emerson so much.
I wonder if this text, one of the 4 works of supreme authority for the Hindus, doesn't speak directly to your own experiment. As Manu says, resignation of all pleasures is far better than the attainment of them. It's so vital for us to read the wisdom of all the ancient philosophers. Speaking of which, I'm also looking for my Plato. I was reading it the other day down on the northwest shore of the pond. Have you seen it there by any chance?
I haven't seen it, but I can look for it.
Wonderful. Let me mark the very spot I think I left it on your map so that you can find it.
That shouldn't be difficult to find. I'll see you again soon.
Dear Emerson, I am sorry to write and mar your fine holidays with editorial vexation. However, our next issue of the Dial is not progressing as we would hope. Can you please urge your writers to send the manuscripts they have promised, and to take the advisement that we have given on their contents? I fear that without attention, our Dial will not be long in print. Most sincerely, your friend, Margaret Fuller.
It's true. It wasn't in print for more than a few years.
Dear Lydian, all is well while you are away, though our Dial, I fear, may be languishing. Henry helps with the household chores and the children. He's like one of our family now. I often find him whittling whistles for Waldo or popping corn in the fireplace in the evenings. I think perhaps you should come home soon, or he will forget his writing altogether and the comforts of our home. Be safe and well, R.W.
Letter from Emerson to his wife, Lydian. So we'll head into town and stop at home.
An article published. Here, let me read it. What magic you work, Henry. Though I'm sure Mr. Emerson had some hand in this, did he not? The fees will be of such help to Father
That's
since
rude.
the factory isn't doing well. And what will John say? His own little brother, a published author, no less.
So just like in the fall when we had the pumpkins decorating, now we have wreaths and a Christmas tree. And here we have a passage from Walking, of Thoreau's most famous essays. No more letters from Sophia right now. Another manuscript over here. Ah, this is still the Slavery in Massachusetts essay. So this is still early winter. We can stop by home a little bit later in the winter for a Christmas visit, if we choose. We'll stop in the post office and see if we've got any mail. We do indeed.
Dear Mr. Thoreau, thank you for the fish specimens you recently sent.
Oh, that took
Professor
forever.
Agassiz was highly delighted with them. Some of the species he has seen before, but never in such fresh condition. He would be very interested in the other species you suggested. Should you be able to provide them, we could pay $5 apiece for the mink and fox, and $1 apiece for the mice and hares. 3 white-footed mice, 2 hares, 1 mink, 1 red fox. Sincerely, James Elliott Cabot, assistant to Dr.
Okay.
Agassiz, Harvard
Okay.
University.
Got a new list of animals, all mammals this time. And then, another notice for the surveying work. Payment of $1 offered. So more surveying to be done.
A fine Christmas to you, Henry. Come into town to ward off the chill of the woods, have you? I wager your mother has some hot pie for you to nip.
So maybe it is Christmas time. I mean, I guess the tree is up and everything, so this is the day in which we can experience what there is to be seen of Christmas. Oh yeah, okay, so the gifts were under the tree. I just overlooked them.
Good tidings of the season, son. Some lamp oil to keep your little cabin bright and warm, Father.
Joyeux Noël. I thought you might need some warm clothes for the long winter ahead. Love, Mother. Merry Christmas, Henry. Here are some lovely oranges to sweeten your time in the woods. Love, Sophia.
Okay, so Christmas gifts from everyone in the family, and that puts the stock about everything except our house, the state of our house, back up to full.
Every man is the builder of a temple, called his body, to the god he worships, after a style purely his own, nor can he get off by hammering marble instead. We are all sculptors and painters, and our material is our own flesh and blood and bones. Any nobleness begins at once to refine a man's features, any meanness to imbrute them. Public opinion is a weak tyrant compared with our own private opinion. What a man thinks of himself, that is which determines, or rather indicates, his fate.
The clock is ticking and our first day in early winter is ending.
Nature and human life are as various as our several constitutions. Who shall say what prospect life offers to another? Could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes for an instant?
Okay. All the passages that we've looked at today, no new species to add. And we will wake back at our cabin. Alright, so we need to do some work on the house. Looks like we haven't had any visitors. So we can patch up the house a little bit. The second day of early winter, it's not snowing. It's still the ground covered in snow. See how the walls look a bit different when the house isn't in great condition. You could use some repair work. Alright, fully rested. We'll go back out and patch it up a bit more. Remember, we can either do this at the work table here, or we can go find boards from the abandoned shanties. We'll just do a little bit more so we can get it up to green. I think that was green. We're just gonna do one more to see. Yeah, okay. And we'll rest one more time. Alright, now we'll go out and explore. And look, a hare. So actually, if we get close enough... Oh, I was hoping we'd be able to catch it for Agassi, but perhaps we can't right now. That one is getting away. One of the exciting things about wintertime is the lake, the pond, has frozen over. We can walk out on it. You can find some arrowheads out here on the ice. We don't sail right past them.
The first ice is especially interesting and perfect, being hard, dark, and transparent. If you examine it closely the morning after it freezes, you find that the greater part of the bubbles, which at first appeared to be within it, are against its undersurface, and that more are continually rising from the bottom. While the ice is as yet comparatively solid and dark, that is, you see the water through it.
This big, open, contemplative landscape, the frozen pond in the winter. You can also get to the other sides of the pond much quicker, so if you have tasks to do around the pond when the ice is on the pond, it's a little quicker. So it looks like we have an X right up here on the right. Let's see what that is. I also see an arrowhead shining through here.
To read well, that is, to read true books in a true spirit, is a noble exercise, and one that will task the reader more than any exercise which the customs of the day esteem. It requires a training such as the athletes underwent, the steady intention almost of the whole life to this object. Books must be read as deliberately and reservedly as they were written.
So we have the passage on the allegory of the cave from Plato's Republic. Which we can now return to Emerson. Let's see what else is out here while we're so if we go over to Emerson's Cliff, Sophia's next riddle is up on Emerson's Cliff across the pond. We can get there pretty quickly on the ice. Another arrowhead we can stop and grab over here.
When the ponds were firmly frozen, they afforded not only new and shorter routes to many points, but new views from their surfaces of the familiar landscape around them.
So you can also take the boat out in the warm seasons onto the pond, but the boat is sort of on rails. You can kind of go from one point to another, and you row the boat, but you don't have the freedom to explore in the boat like you do in the winter when you're on the ice, so this is a nice chance to get all kinds of perspectives of the shore that you'll never get any other time in the game. There's a bird flying over. Let's see if we can get close enough to see what it is.
Huh.
It's a nighthawk. Okay, so we have a new species to add here on day 2 of early winter. It is a pleasant sound to me, the squeaking and the booming of nighthawks flying over high open fields in the woods. They fly like butterflies, not to avoid birds of prey, but apparently to secure their own insect prey. So I'll add nighthawk. Alright, and let's see, we can see the boat in this cove over here, but let's see how close we're getting. Emerson's Cliff. It's not a bad place to go on shore, but we can get a little bit closer.
Many of the phenomena of winter are suggestive of an inexpressible tenderness and fragile delicacy.
Getting low on food stores again. see how close this puts us. Yeah, pretty much straight inland up Emerson's Cliff now. This is a really cool place to visit when you go to Walden Pond as well. A little bit less frequented by tourists and visitors. Climb straight up the cliff here. Okay.
When we have obtained those things which are necessary to life, there is another alternative than to obtain the superfluities, and that is to adventure on life now.
Ah. I have a nice memory of climbing up to the top of the cliff here and looking out. My last visit.
To be a philosopher is not merely to have subtle thoughts, nor even to found a school, but so to love wisdom as to live according to its dictates, a life of simplicity, independence, magnanimity, and trust. It is to solve some of the problems of life, not only theoretically, but practically. A lake is the landscape's most beautiful and expressive feature. It is Earth's eye, looking into which the beholder measures the depth of his own nature.
Here's a cap to keep you warm, and another riddle to keep you thinking. At the very edge of the Walden Wood, in grove of deeply green sweet fern, find me you should, before the leaves turn. Sophia.
Well, too late for that, but take a peek at our map and see where the new tasks are. Sophia's next riddle is way out there, along the edge between Emerson's Cliff and Fairyland Meadow to the southeast. So while we're out here, let's see if we can make it over there.
There is commonly sufficient space about us. Our horizon is never quite at our elbows.
Let's see. So, we're right along the border right now. This is the edge of the map, so we'll follow it around. Starting to get dark. How close are we drawing to the... Okay, not too much farther. See if we can spot the solitude cairn out here. See a shining arrowhead, and there it is. Alright, let's see what this says.
You need only sit still long enough in some attractive spot in the woods that all its inhabitants may exhibit themselves to you by turns.
Something bitter and something sweet for you. And a new clue. Closer to home, in Violet and Rose, where the whistle of Fitchburg solemnly blows, I stand on a path where Indians tread, and once by our brother, so too were we led. All my love, Sophia.
See on the map where her next clue is. Okay, so over there, yeah, by the railroad, sort of halfway between our house and the railroad. And you can see that the surveying the Fitchburg Railroad over there's a $sign on the railroad as well, where we can continue surveying work. The last couple minutes of our day, let's see if we can identify a few pine trees here. So we have the pitch pine, a white pine, there's the eastern red spruce again with a new entry. No two trees wear the ice alike. The short plumes and needles of the spruce make a very pretty and peculiar figure. So a mixture of all of the members of the pine family out here that we've met. I just heard an owl hooting. There's a fireplace over there where we could rest when we're out this far. Okay. So the passages that we found today, we added one new species, which was the nighthawk. And we'll go back to our cabin. You see already some wear and tear on the house, even though we patched it up completely yesterday, so winter does seem to take more of a toll on the house. Our supplies go faster in the winter. Maintain it. An arrowhead here.
The snow had already covered the ground since the 25th of November, and surrounded me suddenly with the scenery of winter. I withdrew yet farther into my shell, and endeavored to keep a bright fire both within my house and within my breast.
Ah, now we can collect it. So we have one of the animals. We still need to collect 3 mice, a mink, and a fox.
My dwelling was small, and I could hardly entertain an echo in it, but it seemed larger for being a single apartment and remote from neighbors. All the attractions of a house were concentrated in one room. It was kitchen, chamber, parlor, and keeping room, and whatever satisfaction parent or child, master or servant, derived from living in a house, I enjoyed it all. At this season, I seldom had a visitor. When the snow lay deepest, no wanderer ventured near my house for a week or fortnight at a time, but there I lived as snug as a meadow mouse. The mice which haunted my house were not the common ones. One would come out regularly at lunchtime and pick up the crumbs at my feet. It probably had never seen a man before, and it soon became quite familiar, and would run over my shoes and up my clothes.
I love the passages from Walden and from his journal about the mouse that was his friend at the house.
The one who came from farthest to my lodge, through deepest snows and most dismal tempests, was a poet. We made that small house ring with boisterous mirth and resound with the murmur of much sober talk. Broadway was still and deserted in comparison.
It was quite a laugh. And the poet being referred to here is Ellery Channing. The red color of the blueberry bushes with the snow on them is
Interesting.
kind of nice. When their leaves have fallen, blueberry bushes are scraggy, gray, dead-looking, and the oldest have quite a venerable appearance. I wonder if there's any new entries for the sumac that we were using for food as well. Berries that hold on into winter are to be enumerated and perhaps deserve a separate notice, as sumac and so on. It holds on all winter, as is eaten by partridges, chickadees, and probably mice. You will see it plenty still in April. What was the huckleberry is quite bare now. Over here along this tree is the purslane, still out of season. But so far we've found that we can gather the sumac and the groundnut. Alright, so if there's time enough left in the day, we could take the book that we just found up to Emerson. The weeds have really more of a striking color in the winter when everything is so colorless by comparison.
In the deepest snows, the path which I used from the highway to my house, about half a mile long, might have been represented by a meandering dotted line, with wide intervals between the dots. For a week of even weather, I took exactly the same number of steps, and of the same length, coming and going, stepping deliberately and with the precision of a pair of dividers in my own deep tracks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, you found my Plato. Good for you, Henry. I wanted to look at that passage about men's blindness to truth, the allegory of the cave. I know you know the one I mean.
Nah.
No, I haven't read it.
Oh. Well, I'd hoped you
Oh.
would, and give you inspiration.
What a
You should
disappointment
look
I am.
at it when you have a moment. Your own experiment is much like that of the man who leaves the cave and goes into the light, don't you think? And the rest of us living in our safe houses are the men left in the dark. I hope you won't think less of us for not braving the woods full time. Speaking of the woods, I've been searching them in vain for my Bhagavad Gita. I was reading it out near the Fairyland meadow and seemed to have
Oh
lost it.
man, I was
Have
just
you
out
seen
there.
it by any chance?
I haven't seen it, but I can look for it.
Wonderful. Let me mark the very spot. I think I left it on your map so that you can find it.
That shouldn't be difficult to find. I'll see you again soon.
Okay, well, we haven't been quite to the far east. Side over there by the Concord Road, so I could walk along that way to get to it. No new letters. Let's just stop in again at the post office and see if anything's arrived. Can always stop by home and grab some free food too. I mean, Henry wasn't above it. Get my clothes patched up. Gotta love it. Totally self-sustaining wild man, you know? Don't think Henry ever really claimed that was what was important to him. Alright, so we got a white-footed mouse that was crawling across in front of the general store here to add to our collection for Agassi.
Do not trouble yourself much to get new things, whether clothes or friends. Turn the old, return to them. Things do not change, we change. Sell your clothes and keep your thoughts.
Good day, Henry.
Good afternoon. It is never too late to give up our prejudices. No way of thinking or doing, however ancient, can be trusted without proof.
Another new letter waiting.
My friend Thoreau, I know that there has been much delay, but your article is this moment in type and will appear as the leading article in Graham's magazine for next month. I will see that Graham pays you fairly for it. Do not think hard of him. I am enclosing $2 until such time as he does. I propose that if you will sit down and write another article for me, I will give you $12 for it on delivery, publish it, and leave you the copyright. Do not write too long, or more quickly than you can think, for that will not work for the magazines. Yours, Horace Greeley.
Well, we got $2 from published writing, bringing us to a total of $25.67 with a promise of a $12 payment for the next published article. I haven't even written the thing yet. He's gonna give me $12 for it? Not bad. Hanging out around the vicinity of the general store is a good place to look for the white-footed mouse. Peeping in now and again in this area, just like we caught that last one. It's a good place if you're looking for the animals for Agassi. Looking at that graveyard as we were walking through town, one interesting thing was that Thoreau's buried in one cemetery in Concord, and then when the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery became the more popular place for everyone to be buried, they created an author's ridge where lots of other writers were buried, and Henry's coffin was exhumed and reburied on the author's ridge in Sleepy Hollow. the jingle bells on the horses. Nice view of the cabin in the distance through the trees. Down there I see another arrowhead.
Sometimes, notwithstanding the snow, when I returned from my walk at evening, I crossed the deep tracks of a woodchopper leading from my door, and found his pile of whittlings on the hearth, and my house filled with the odor of his pipe. At length the winter set in good earnest, and the wind began to howl around the house as if it had not had permission to do so till then. Night after night the geese came lumbering in the dark with a clangor and a whistling of wings, even after the ground was covered with snow, some to alight in Walden, and some flying low over the woods bound for Mexico.
Okay, they add the Canada Goose here. And that passage and the sound.
I weathered some merry snowstorms, and spent some cheerful winter evenings by my fireside, while the snow whirled wildly without, and even the hooting of the owl was hushed.
This will wrap up the third day of early winter. So after today, we'll begin the season of midwinter. It's very dark without lighting out here in winter. Let's gather a bit more food before the day ends.
At night there was never a traveler passed by my house, or knocked at my door, more than if I were the first or last man. I believe that men are generally still a little afraid of the dark, though the witches are all hung, and Christianity and candles have been introduced.
The ticking of the clock ends the third day of early winter. Review of the entries. Okay, and we'll go back to the cabin at the start of the next season of midwinter.
Is not January the hardest month to get through? When I have weathered that, I will get into the Gulf Stream of winter, nearer the shores of spring.
Okay, and that's where we'll stop.